Arnold here in the studio, 845-1100. And I would like to ask our guest, our current guest, Dr. Pat Obey, a question. Doctor, I was watching some clips yesterday, and I saw a statistic that blew my mind away, where it broke down the deficit into a per-citizen basis, and we were at $58,000 per citizen. That's the one in the OBGYN all the way to the guy in the old folks home.
Yeah.
Not that many years ago, I remember being 38,000. Obviously, increasing the debt ceiling is going to add to this.
Yes.
Really, I preach it on this station that one day America will run out of money to borrow.
Yeah.
Where does it end? Where does it end? Is it a good ending? It feels like this is going to be one of those bad endings.
Yeah, you're right, because this situation reminds us of how we have been operating a runaway budget for several years, and I mean the whole this problem obviously didn't begin today. It's just that right now both the Congress and the citizens are much more aware of how dangerous financing our budget with increasingly mostly borrowed funds could be. So that actually is the good news, which is that we are much more concerned about running a deficit year in, year out. Now the bad news in this is that many would argue that we're going about it in the very wrong way. Although I don't think that Congress is opposed to raising the debt ceiling, because they know that there is no way, like I mentioned before, that we can solve this problem overnight. They do realize that our deficit would have to gradually go down. We can't do it in one fell swoop. In any event, so it's good that we are aware of it. It's not good that the way we're going about it is what we're doing right now, where we are willing to embarrass the country actually and allow a lot of Americans to be out of work as a way to correct a problem. I'm not so sure that many would agree that that is a reasonable way to deal with a problem that everybody knows you can't solve overnight.
Well, considering the fact that us as Americans, when we do work, that's the only time that we really contribute to the tax rolls.
That is true.
That if you're furloughing people that aren't going to be paying their taxes.
That's
we
true.
have so many businesses going under, overseas production, which is a major reason why there was a thriving stock market. Yet here we still continue to face
Yes.
a recession.
Yes.
It gets to the point where it just seems ass backwards. I can't say it any different than that.
Well, yeah. And to be frank, we don't really have a recession right now, but we do have an economy that is growing so sluggishly that for many it would seem like a recession anyways. One of my favorite quotes from President Reagan is that a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your own job. So someone who doesn't have a job right now couldn't care less that the economy is growing at about 3%, a little less, per year. And so also the fact that even a lot of people who are employed are underemployed. The income they're earning right now is not quite as high as it was prior to the Great Recession of 2009. So these are problems that we face, and I would hope that these issues, these economic problems, would be more compelling arguments for Congress and the White House to deal with. Problems such as slow growth, high unemployment, relatively speaking, the fact that we have a runaway debt. Right now our debt is approaching $17 trillion, and our GDP, which is a measure of our economic output, is less than that. It's about $1 trillion less than that. So we owe more than we produce, and that is a big problem. So these are issues that are actually much more compelling than the little potatoes that we're currently dealing with, such as Affordable Care Act, which already is the law, quite honestly. Would require 2/3 majority and the willing presidents to overturn it. So the big picture is a little bit more compelling, and our global leadership if even nobody agrees on the big picture as I've described it.
Well, let me ask you this: you're a sharp guy. Can you share with any of our listeners? Do you think that is there any emerging markets, new markets that people should be looking to try and train themselves in, so they can be ready for the changing climate in the job market?
Well, I think that the incorporation of global market finance or emerging market finance within the finance curriculum or any kind of certification program is of great importance. Emerging markets are now a larger portion of the global economy than the situation was at the turn of this new millennium. And in particular, the countries we call the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So these economies are growing by leaps and bounds, all things considered. And I think it is important from a learning standpoint to understand that going forward, we need to have a reasonable understanding of how the United States is now an integral part of the global economy. And so restricting our knowledge of finance or economics or any aspects of international business to, or any aspects of business for that matter, to the United States may be limiting you in ways that could cost you employment in the future. From an investment standpoint, it is equally important for people to understand that investing in mutual funds and other portfolios that are diversified across different regions, and in particular these regions that are growing a lot more than we are growing in the industrialized West, is actually very important. Finally though, I would bet in America. This for anybody who wishes to invest long term. The fact that the markets have dropped by quite a bit since this argument in Washington began is an opportunity for people to consider investing long-term in this market, because its long-term upward mobility is, in my judgment, still pretty intact.
And I remember you saying, I asked you how are things, folks, Dr. Pat Obey again is here from Purdue University, Calumet. He's been all over the world, and I've asked him how was it like, and you know, he comes back with the same answer. The United States is still the best place.
That is correct. That is correct. North or south, east or west, America is the place to be. I can tell you that after visiting 52 countries, working in those places, consulting there and teaching in those countries. And the reason is simple: opportunities. That's the key word that makes America tickle. Anybody who bases his or her long-term decision on short-term problems in Washington is actually maybe doing so at his or her own peril from an investment standpoint, in my opinion.
Cool. Now this question's sort of off the wall because I watched a webinar about it yesterday, and they brought in the Obamas in regarding that are using this technique to help make money. Have you ever heard of the mains income stream?
I can't say I have, although I'm not sure what exactly is that? No.
Okay, but I thought it was a bit of a goof. So the sales pitch to me to buy a newsletter.
Oh wow, no.
I can hook up and sign up, and something that I would produce would be I could buy into the oil market and buy trademarks.
Oh wow.
Such and reap money through royalties.
Wow, that sounds like rocket science to me there.
Sounds a little shady. I didn't want to throw you into a whole other spin. I could take another half an hour to just describe it if you knew a bunch of it, but yeah. I thought it seemed a little bit of we just want your money and then we'll confuse you a little more.
Yeah, and I think people should also understand that sometimes the things that work best in life in terms of money are the easiest and simplest things to grasp. Investing and earning an income from any employment shouldn't be as complex as that. A friend of mine contacted me on Facebook the other day asking me about investing in gold, telling me that they're losing faith in the U.S. currency, in the U.S. dollar. And I reminded him that, first of all, gold has no intrinsic value. Gold does not pay an income and doesn't have a high consumptive capacity that backs it. India is about the only country where gold is purchased for a great deal as a widespread jewelry. In any event, often gold is purchased either as an inflation hedge or as a way to secure oneself against uncertainty. So outside of those two factors, when the global economy is stabilizing and when inflation is under control as it currently is, purchasing gold is probably not the best way to go. Secondly, people need to understand that financial market problems as we have them right now should not be viewed as a thing of permanence. It's not. You have to have a long-term perspective. And therefore, when you see things going down the way they have, consider that to be an opportunity for a long-term investor. Short-term, I can't advise on that. There's too much upheaval.
Yeah, really, when everybody gives Bill Clinton a lot of credit, but really, we need the next internet boom. We need the next, thing where America is spearheading. We are leading. We're the first ship out there, ahead of the game. We need another Gates and Jobs partnership.
Yeah.
Something along those lines that's going to bring something great
Correct.
to this world. What
Yes.
is it? I don't know. You don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I want to thank you for spending some time and your valuable time over at Purdue University. If you guys want a really solid education and you're looking to work in the financial realm, head on up, talk to one of the advisors over there in the finance department or the graduate level management program over there, right on the north side. You still on the north side of the building or the facility?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I was just there for a speech with a gentleman that spoke on the book from Howard Zinn, A People's History of the United States, when you were away. And I knew you were gone, so I didn't come and try and find you. But I will do that sometime soon, Pat, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Ron. You have a good one.